In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Then God said,
"Let there be light."
That stuff is flat!
What do you get with a group of ignorant bigots getting together to try and defend their zealot ways? Well, this is what you get. The army of bigotry. Let's just say the one member of the army of bigotry, Mr. Limey Mr. Slimeball, showed how stupid he is with trying to explain everything about bottom-up obstruction and diffraction limit. Sit back and enjoy as we rip him a new one.
Hello, I'm Limey and thank you so much for joining me today. Whilst trying to decide what video I was going to do for today, I was scrolling through the regular sort of internet stuff. Most of the stuff I do comes from YouTube.
Most of the stuff comes from YouTube. Yes, would you explain why you're such an ignoramus? But please do go on.
And I keep seeming to gravitate back towards the usual flat earth BS.
You mean the flat earth BS, like you misunderstanding how reality works? And
I stumbled across another damage control video by the one and only, thankfully, Nathan Oakley of the dwindling Flat Earth Debates.
So first you say it's bullshit, and now you are thankful that you stumbled upon it. Wow. Okay, and by the way, Flat Earth Debate is not dwindling because he's growing. He's gone up about 700 subscribers in the last 2 weeks. Maybe get your facts straight, Limey Smime.
In it, he desperately tries to explain how angular resolution causes things to disappear from the bottom up. In a way, he's not wrong, but at the same time, he is completely wrong.
Already starting with the contradictions. He's right, but not right at the same time. You know, like you guys say, it's straight, but it's curved.
Now, despite how many times this is made crystal clear to the contrary of what he believes by different members of the global community.
So the community of bigots is telling us that it's wrong, so this makes it wrong. No, man. Actually bring up something to defend your idiocy.
He either doesn't understand it still, or is just flat out lying in hopes of holding on to his young flirflings. I do think he's in it for the money.
No shit, Sherlock. It's his job. He's a YouTuber. Obviously he's doing it for money to survive. You do know he would make more money if he was on your side, though.
But some of it I think he kind of believes, maybe just because he's repeated it so many times.
No, it's not a belief. It's scientifically validated, measurable, and observable, unlike your globe. So I suggest getting your ducks in a row. Man, when are you actually going to get to the substance of this video? You're just going to rant about how much you love Nathan Oakley. Please, do go on.
But just like with his misunderstanding of the second law of thermodynamics, he's dead wrong. And
no, he's not. Just because you have a zealot belief that conceptual bending of space-time can be a force and not a force holding gas, that anyway, if it was a force, would not do anything to gas, holds it down to earth, does not make him wrong. It just makes you a bigot, zealot, idiot that is easily manipulated into believing fantasy.
Although I realise that flirfs will either not pay attention to me or just flat out deny the truth.
Ah, now I get it. So this is all just for attention. Everybody, this is an attention-seeking video. I still don't know what truth he's speaking of, though, because we have still yet to see any demonstrations of this so-called truth that actually go against observable reality. But anyway, let him go on and spout his nonsense.
It's still worth trying to teach them. It might stop just one person from wasting years of their life following this ridiculous nonsense.
The bigotry shines through. Should I say even more? No, dude, it's not ridiculous nonsense. It's just you got some cold zealot belief in something that you think anything that goes against it is wrong, even though you have not been able to demonstrate anything, which I will point out over and over and over again.
Or it might bring someone back that has been in it for a little while and is teaching their kids this nonsense. It's irresponsible, it's wrong, it's dangerous, and it's affecting more people than we can imagine because a lot of them are trying to teach their kids this stuff. And that, to me, is bordering on child abuse.
Whoa! Stop the lorry right there, sir! Ha! Okay, you all heard it. Now you know why I call him a bigot. Anyway, there was a live stream with STST and his band of bigots telling me that I am actually a child abuser because I teach my child reality, while being hypocrites because they teach their children about a fantasy globe. You know, the same thing we all been gone through with indoctrination from childhood. And I just simply asked this simple question and, well, sit back and listen what these guys had to say to me. This is the type of interaction you get back when just bringing up something as simple as, don't you think it's a bit hypocritical on how you are deducing reality here?
I'm sorry, guys. I just need to. Call this Flatzoid FE comment. So you don't find it's child abuse to teach children that we have a globe that's only based in belief. That is very hypocritical.
Again, it's not based in belief. It's established.
It is based in belief. But what I find very hypocritical is the fact that you deleted 11 frames out of that video. So I can still, to me, that is evidence that you are not even a flat earther.
Wow. You see what I'm talking about? This is what they do. They brought up saying we are child abusers because we teach our children reality based on observation, not belief. Then they come and do this. Instead of just saying yes, it could be, no, whatever, give reasons. Instead, you took out frames, you dishonest liar, you understand? Which is misrepresented anyway in the first instance. Your bigotry shines through. This is why I call you the bigot army. Well, let's get back to Slimy Ball.
Mentally. So, as painful as it is, let's start by watching his short, irritating video.
The most limited angle is at the bottom.
Wrong. Wow. We're not starting off very well, are we, Nathan?
Wrong, you say? So the bottom angle is not the limited angle? Okay, do go on. And yes, you are definitely not starting off really well.
Angular resolution explains the resolving power of an imaging device such as a camera, telescope, or the human eye, with resolution basically referring to the minimum resolvable distance between distinguishable objects.
Yes, you're right, but I'm not seeing you actually rebutting what he said about the limited angle, though.
Using a camera or your eyes to look at a distant object, this occurs in the center of the lens.
What utter horseshit. It doesn't just appear in the center of the lens. I suggest you should go and learn what lens diffraction really is, Slimy Ball.
This is why turning your head to the side will not help you to resolve those distant objects inside the angular spread.
No, because turning your head to the side is not widening your field of view. If you change your elevation, it widens the angles. Maybe you're just being dishonest here.
If Nathan's claim was based in reality, we could basically resolve the image by looking down or, tilting our head.
Oh my word. Tilting your head down limits the acute angle more because you're closing the field of view. How in the world do you think what you are presenting is in any way, shape or form more than an IQ of a gnat? Please present something more of substance instead of just, you don't understand because I am bigot. Yes, please, Mr. Slimy Ball. You're not the 5-year-old, are you?
So if I expand this picture and make it further away, i.e. the guy on the left further from the guy on the right, that limitation becomes more and more acute.
Wrong. First, we'll just say that in mathematics, an acute angle is any angle smaller than 90 degrees.
Saying he's wrong and then validating just shows what a moron you are. Sorry, but I just got no other words for the idiocy being displayed here. You do know if the angle is more acute, you're not going to be able to resolve it because it's too limited to see, limey.
And although incorrect, a lot of people might say that an angle is becoming more acute as it gets smaller. However, this angle doesn't change in size, without changing the focus of the lens.
Oh, sorry, wait, wait. Literally, what you have just said has contradicted yourself beyond measure. Yes, the size changes if it gets more acute, limey. Please, I urge you, please stop this nonsense. It's just getting worse as you go on. Wow.
Moving people further apart whilst keeping the focus the same would actually cause a larger area to be covered by the angle of resolution. Nothing in this example is getting more acute except maybe the pain in my head.
Ah, boy. So you ignore that it's the angle from the floor to the observer. When it moves in the distance, that acute angle gets smaller. And yes, it must be painful in your head because you know you're so wrong.
Smaller. The angle gets less.
Thank you for clarifying what you meant, and
It's a pleasure. Let's just see if you're going to actually understand what was meant. I mean, my 5-year-old daughter understands this, as I tell you guys daily.
no.
No, it should be yes.
No, as we just discussed.
Okay, choose to stick to your zealot ways. Let's go on.
As it gets further away, meaning that you lose more and more from the bottom up.
I'm going to skip his, I don't know, in my opinion, too long and, oh God, too repetitive.
I want you to see it once, you just don't watch it again. But before we do, let's just take a moment to enjoy the fact that Nathan just can't rest. That's the stuff. Now, Nathan, let's
Prove your disappearing bottom-up angular resolution claim. It's a simple experiment that you can try at home with no real equipment, save yourself.
So not only do you just show you have no idea how angles works, you are also proving to show you don't know what science is. It's not an experiment, by the way, and we have demonstrated this bottom-up effect with actual observations and demonstrations. Nathan, myself, and the whole FE community. So I would suggest you get your ducks in a row.
Look directly at something and notice how, it is in the center of your field of view. Now, notice how much you can see from the center of your field of view to the bottom. Crazy, huh? In fact, if you tried this with the horizon and just us seeing all that water below the boat kind of disproves your theory. Because
It's not a theory, it's provable. It's called perspective, where the ground rises relative to eye level, thus making the limited angle more acute. And that's why you see water. Wow! Woo.
is the bottom of our field of view. Also, if it somehow made, the bottom of the object disappear and it, land right back on top of the horizon, wouldn't angling your view slightly down, bringing that back whilst...
Again, no. You are making that bottom angle larger of the floor, the surface deck's angle larger. And because you are seeing now less of the object in the further distance, you've closing that field of view. Thus, you are seeing less of the bottom.
Making part of the ocean disappear. Your claim just doesn't work because it's not based in reality.
Not based in reality, sir. Okay, what are we seeing there? Is that train bottom gone? Look, it's coming close to us on a flat surface. Oh no, it seems to be coming over a curve. Or not. It's just coming above the acute angle. Look, people. Whoopsie. So, what are you going to say now, Mr. Slimy Ball? Let's try it again. Let's watch it go bottom-up obstruction due to the limited angle. You see, your angle is just too limited because now the ground deck is a larger angle than the bottom of that train. Thus, it has diffracted because you cannot resolve the bottom of the train anymore. Very simple stuff, Mr. Slimy Ball. How much more plain can we make it for you?
How lenses, including our eyes, work.
Diffraction limits are based on the aperture of the thing you're viewing through, not the angle to whatever you're looking at.
This is half right. Whilst diffraction limited angular resolution is dependent on the aperture of the lens involved, it also takes into account the wavelength of light entering that aperture.
Okay, first thing that I spotted wrong there was R.C. Meisty saying angles has nothing to do with diffraction limit. It's based on angles. You know, when the angle gets too small to resolve, in other words, the one airy disk has overlapped the other one because they are too close together, that would be angles getting smaller. Okay? Secondly, yes, wavelength of light definitely makes a difference, but you would have to take an average wavelength because you get more than one wavelength of light coming in through the aperture. And it's not the aperture that picks up the wavelength of light, by the way, it's the sensor. The aperture is literally just the concentration of the light. The smaller the aperture, the more diffraction. The larger the aperture, the less diffraction because you're not getting light bouncing off the aperture blades. Understand? Although you have to make a compromise so you can have focus.
That the light entering the aperture of a circular lens look like this sine wave, then lambda would be the measurement between any 2 points with the same phase, such as the crests, the troughs, or the zero crossings. Using the Rayleigh criterion,
Yes, those wavelengths you just described comes from the Bessel functions. That is what gives the units for the Rayleigh criterion. Just had to point that out to you.
Can take the value for lambda, divide it by d, which is the diameter of the lens aperture or opening, and then multiply it by 1.22 to get the value for theta, which would be the angular resolution. The factor 1.22 is derived from a calculation of the position of the first dark circular ring surrounding the airy disk of the pattern. The airy disk being the best focused spot of light that a perfect lens with a circular aperture can make, limited by the diffraction of light, of course. And this can...
Finally, you actually started saying something of value. Please go on.
Be used for all circular apertures when working out angular resolution and various other things.
Do you want to expand on this and then explain where this effect is accounted for in earth curve maths, please?
Oh, Nathan. Are you being this asinine on purpose, or do you not realise that this is just a really silly thing to say? I guess...
No, this is very important questions that you guys love to obfuscate from because you are so-called measuring your earth based on optical instrumentation. Very important.
Whether or not you actually believe this nonsense, it's kind of a good question to pull the wool over the eyes of your faithful followers. However,
I would like to enlighten them, and most likely you, on this point. Calculating earth curve calculates how much of the object should be hidden by earth curvature. Obviously, this amount can differ slightly with refraction, as...
Sorry, did I say measure? I should have said calculate. By the way, do you guys understand the difference between measurement and calculations?
Well as the viewer height and the distance from the viewer to said object. Angular resolution simply dictates how much detail we can distinguish based on the instrument lens only. To explain...
I'm going to have to just stop you there. Your ignorance levels is beyond amazing to me. No, it's not just lenses that cause this diffraction, okay? You have different variables, image sensors, ISOs. You know, I just got no words more for you. Literally, even your angle towards an observation is the reason. You think if you're going to go and stick your hand in front of the camera, you're still going to see the light behind you because it's not causing anything. No, that would still be diffraction, because the light is not reaching your aperture anymore. It's not reaching your sensor anymore. It's literally blocking it. It has not been resolved.
Make it even simpler to you, Nathan. I want you to picture a beautiful photo like the Blackpool Tower photo that you're so enjoying lately. Now, if we change none of the values whatsoever, but had the cameraman leave his camera on the tripod and turn himself away whilst setting the timer, say.
I don't see how this has got to do with the argument, but okay, we'll entertain this for a second.
Values are still there. The amount that's hidden by the curve is still hidden by the curve.
What curve? There's no curve to be say it's hidden behind a curve. Remember, you don't have a geometric horizon. It's literally just limited angle.
And the camera would take the exact same picture as if he was looking whilst pressing the button. However, he can't see any of that, so he's unable to distinguish any of it, obviously.
No shit, Sherlock. He's not looking at the cameras. Obviously, he doesn't know what's going on. But it doesn't change the image that he's taking, does it now?
Kind of like that, but you are looking at it, and inside that angular resolution, you just can't make out enough detail to distinguish different objects. This is kind of why you would think that it's always at the bottom when, say, looking at a ship, because often the bow of the ship, or the stern as it's going away, would be the closest part of the ship to you.
So what was your so-called demonstration explanation thing trying to explain? Because all it was showing was nothing got to do with what we're actually discussing here. And yes, if something's closer, it would be larger. You seem to ignore the floor is closer to you and larger. Thus, it will be occulting the bottom of the smallest, furthest angle. Get it?
It would be the hardest part to resolve at such a long distance. Yet this exact same amount of the mountain would be hidden behind Earth curve. Hopefully this...
Oh, you were still explaining. Sorry. No, it's not Earth curve. Again, limited angle. Floor, larger angle. Bottom of mountain, smaller angle. Thanks, Ruhuf.
would explain to you how your P1000s are able to bring things back over the curve. They're not actually bringing things back over the curve. They're bringing things back into focus.
Yeah, you said it's based on the angle to the thing. That's incorrect. It's based on the diffraction limits are based on the aperture of whatever you're looking through.
I see. And that's accounted for where in Earth curve maths?
Weren't you listening, Nathan? We literally just covered this.
The Rayleigh criteria.
Where's that in Earth curve maths?
I give up.
Earth curve math? Well,
yeah.
We're talking about what you can see and what you cannot.
Yeah. I'll reply.
This would be where Nathan gets a chub on because he thinks he's onto a winning tactic.
In the Earth curve maths, there aren't any calculations for diffraction limits based on aperture.
Because there doesn't need to be, and you portray...
Sorry, you say there doesn't need to be. Yes, there would need to be. You know the reason why you guys don't put in your math? Is because, so funny enough, it coincides with your 1.22 birth observation height of 1 foot. It's because you guys have hijacked perspective and opticals to make it be your stupidity, demonstrably wrong, so-called Earth curve that you say is not actually physical anymore.
That there should either means that you're too uneducated to just understand it, or worse, you do understand it and are lying to all of your followers hoping that they're too uneducated to get it.
No.
Projection much? I think you'd be the last person shown at this video that anybody else is uneducated.
No. We see the side of our own head holding the camera. We don't actually calculate for what the camera sees when we do Earth curve maths.
Because it's only changing the clarity of what is already there to be seen. So, looking at this picture you're sharing now, all of that ship is available to be seen. This means that it hasn't gone over the curve yet from the viewer's relative position. However, the viewer is far enough away that with the current lens view they are using, and again, this could be their eye or even a camera that can't zoom in far enough. So with this current lens and the current lighting conditions, they are unable to distinguish the area of view here with this area here. Or we could say that they cannot resolve this entire area here. So to them, it looks like the ship has gone over the curve already because they cannot separate that part of the ship from the water in front of it.
By golly, you actually got it right. Because of the diffraction limit, the largest angle, the water, would be appearing to block the bottom of the ship. Why in the world are you still saying Earth curve then? Are you this daft? Thank you, and by the way, thanks for using my boat illustration. I've been actually brought this boat illustration out about 3 years ago. But yeah, thanks to you, you've just explained in detail what we've been explaining. It's bottom-up obstruction due to the limited angle and that's reached the diffraction limit. Not Earth curve, literally just optical. Thank you, dude.
Side view, something that absolutely does not look like what we see when we compare that maths to pictures. That's because side view normally makes it easier to see all of the variables. If you can't understand these objects and translate 2D images into 3D, thought, then there's probably no helping you. Just to try and help, here's a excellent video by Dazza the cameraman, who I will link in the description. Some screenshots from the video and compare the proportion of the ship that is hidden and compare it at the different stages as I zoom in. Are we seeing more of
the ship above the horizon as I zoom in, or does the proportion remain exactly the same?
So we can see now the ship on the left starting to emerge. When zoomed all of the way out, we could not even see it because it all fit inside our diffraction limited angular resolution.
Clearly see the...
You might want to get your eyes checked, mate. I can clearly see it there. By the way, it's already past the limited angle, so you'll just be magnifying it.
The crane towers coming into view and the bridge of the ship there. So we should have enough information here now to take a good screenshot that we can compare as I zoom in further.
Okay. It's not difficult to understand this. You see, the lens has reached its optical abilities already. The angle has reached its limited angle. So, the middle boat is the closest one. It is sitting before the limited angle. Then you're getting the right side boat, which is a bit further away, which is sitting behind the limited angle. Then you get the boat on the left, which is even further away, which is sitting even more behind the limited angle. Do you understand? So, when you're zooming in, you're literally just magnifying that limited angle. Not hard to comprehend. And yeah, it's showing exactly what I just explained. You just magnified the already limited angle. So this is why you see the boat exactly like it is. Zoomed out or zoomed in. It's past that limited angle. That's why angle is so important.
A, just because a lens cannot resolve something does not mean it's not there. And more importantly, B, no matter how much you zoom in, you cannot see more of the object than is available to see.
Yes, available to see, aka magnifying the limited angle.
Really criterion, innit? Whatever gave you that idea? Why would it be that you're here telling me about how the Rayleigh criterion works when it's not working in your Earth curve maths?
Finally, I would just like to point out, mainly for Nathan Oakley's subscribers, that if he was as confident as he claims, if he actually believed his arguments, then he would have absolutely no need to yell at people, call them names, mute and or boot them, or...
So hypocritical. You mean mute and boot like you guys did to me on STSD stream when trying to just defend myself?
or post multiple videos in a short amount of time of the same rebuttals to undeniable proof.
You do know these housekeeping questions have never been addressed or answered from your side. The reason why it's asked daily.
As the Blackpool photo, or he'd step out of his echo chamber to have a real life debate. But
Why do you guys always do this? He has a platform for debating, which he shows up practically daily. You can show up and debate him. What makes you
no,
so
you know,
important
he
that he has
sticks
to go
to the
out
current
and
tactics
debate
because
you?
it's his income
He has a
stream that he
platform,
really
which he
believes
does.
in, and he
So,
doesn't want to
if you
lose
so strongly
people
want to debate
who
someone,
end up starting
go
to
to
see
their
sense. So
platform and
he's
debate.
trying to
This is the
push
problem
out
with
this
you
mass
guys. Every
brainwashing.
single time
All that
you
being
want us
said,
to go
I'm
to your
inviting
guys'
you, Nathan, to
platforms
step
where you
out
guys
of
help
your
each other
echo
and hold each
chamber,
other's
your
hands and
comfort
think,
bubble, and
I'm
debate
winning,
me.
even when you get
Back up
shown
the stuff
and
that
totally
you're supposed to
obliterated
believe
as
in and
nincompoops.
preach
So,
all of the
I'm not going to
time.
let everybody hear what you're
It's
saying. If you
time
really
you
want to,
actually
you can
worked
go and
for the
watch his
money
full
that you
video.
con out
Because
of
all he's
people.
literally doing
You
is,
can reach me
these
on
guys don't
any of
want
the
to
social
debate
media
me, I'm
links
not
in the
important
description.
enough.
And with that, I
So,
think I've had enough of
enough
him for
ranting.
today. If you
I
enjoyed
think it's
today's
time that
video,
you go
please
and
do
debate
hit
him
that like
there.
button.
Well, I guess we can stop the video because it's been quite long, and frankly, you're not one of the most exciting people to debunk, because you do debunk yourself. You don't make it much of a challenge. If you guys really want to have a debate, Nathan's open to it every day. Hey, I'm open to it. We can set times up. Just know, if you bring rubbish, ignorance like you do here, you're going to get slaughtered. So thank you for watching, everyone. I'm giving a huge shout out to Nathan because his channel is definitely growing well, and I think if we can get his channel out to more greater audience, it's going to get reality to more people. So please subscribe to Nathan Oakley today. So I will place Nathan Oakley's The Flat Earth Debate channel in the description box. Please go out and subscribe to him. It's well worth it. And I'll also put Limey Play's video in the description box. Thank you for watching. Remember, we live on a stationary, horizontal plane. God bless. Bye.